So how to make a time lapse that lasts as long as you want and looks stunning. If you're new on my channel, my name is Adrian and I post editing and color grading tutorials. And today I will show you how to extend your time lapse. That works for Cloud's time lapse perfectly. So without further ado, here's my time lapse recorded with GoPro. I used flat colors and time warp option. Actually, it's too slow. Let me speed it up. So Ctrl R and drag it to the left. Yes, it's better. But if I speed it up, it's too short. It's only 4 seconds long. Let me trim it because there are some wobbling at the beginning and at the end. Now make a copy. Just hold Alt key and drag it up. And move it to the right so it's overlaying quite a bit. And fade it in by dragging the white little square knob. If you don't see it, you probably need to zoom the clips. You can do it by holding Alt key and scrolling with the mouse. Okay, so this is what we've got so far. Now repeat the copy step and overlay it the same way. Do it as many times as you wish. So we have now 10 seconds instead of 4. For this example, it's enough. Now let's create a compound clip. So select all clips, right click and new compound clip and create. And let's grade it so it looks stunning. In the color page, create 4 serial nodes. By the way, this was recorded with a GoPro, so no color space transformation is needed. Just be sure that your timeline is Rec 709. So in your project settings, color management tab, I have Davinci YRGB as color science and timeline color space Rec 709. Okay, so let me create 4 serial nodes for the beginning. I will name it exposure, balance, contrast, saturation because in that order we're gonna start grading. Okay, starting with the exposure, if you look at the waveform, the image has a lot of highlights and shadows, and generally it's bright. So not much to do here. In primaries, I will maybe slightly increase the offset value, and that's it. Next, the balance. To correct the balance, you can use offset as well. Let me switch to the vector scope. So basically, most of the time, we want to have all colors be balanced, be located around the center of the vector scope, but I want the image to be colder. So let me move it a bit to the right towards the blue colors. You can do it by dragging this white dot just a tiny bit. So this is before balancing and after. Next is contrast. Let me switch back to the waveform. You can use contrast control, which is by default an S-curve contrast behaving. I'll do it in a more linear way by increasing gain and decreasing offset. Personally, I like it that way most of the time. So this is before and after. Next is saturation. I will boost saturation control by 10%. So before and after. Okay, let me add 3 parallel nodes. It should be enough. And let's go for the look we want. So in my first parallel node, I will try to make the sky more blue. Let me try log wheels to do it. The sky should be sitting in highlights range, so I will try to adjust highlight towards the blue colors. But I don't like it. Instead of blue, it's turning into purple or something. I'll do it differently. Maybe HDR. No, HDR will not work neither. I will try Warper tool instead. Let me increase the number of the anchor points. Sometimes Warper is the easiest and fastest way. Just make sure you have qualifier tool selected and simply drag the color you want to change. In our case, we want more blue, so I will drag the sky towards blue, so to the right. Yes, it looks much better now. So this is before and after. Let's label the node, it's always a good practice. And now I will correct the mountains. I want them to be more green. It's a good example for log wheels. Let's try it. We will adjust the shadows, and you already can tell the difference before and after. And using the last parallel node, I will add some red to the sunlight so the whole image looks warmer. To do it, I will use highlights in HDR. If you click and hold this button, you can see exactly what parts of the image will be affected. And this slider can further fine-tune the range. Let me open the zones. So yeah, this slider is called fall off. So let's move our highlights towards yellow. I like it somewhere around here. And finally, let me decrease the highlight exposure. So this is before the grade and after. Thanks for watching. Hope you've learned something. Tap subscribe and like if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. Check out my Davinci Resolve products, links in the description. Cheers and see you in the next one.